What's up, movie lovers? And welcome back to the channel. Today we're venturing deep into a dark, suffocating forest to dissect a story that will make your skin crawl and question the very nature of memory and sacrifice. This isn't just your average haunted house flick. This is a descent into psychological terror called The Tall Lady. So, turn on the lights, make sure your doors are locked, and let's get started. Our story begins with Ilara, her husband Marcus, and their neurodivergent son, Leo. They're driving to a remote house, a supposed fresh start away from the city, away from doctors, away from everything. Marcus is trying to sell this as a digital detox, a family reset. But Ilara is terrified. They're hours from medical help, and Leo has episodes. As she glances back, she sees Leo isn't looking at the scenery. He's staring at the empty seat beside him, whispering. When she asks who he's talking to, he simply says, "The tall lady says we shouldn't have opened the gate." And just like that, bam. The SUV hits a pothole and the engine dies. They're stranded. Welcome to Blackwood Manor. The house is a nightmare of peeling wallpaper and deep shadows. The first red flags appear almost immediately. Marcus finds an old photograph of the house, and in the background, a faint silhouette of a tall, spindly figure. A classic first manifestation. Soon after, Leo, who's already quiet, stops talking altogether. Instead, he begins to draw. He covers the walls with disturbing murals of the forest and tall, faceless figures. The isolation deepens when Ilara tries to drive to a doctor's appointment, only to find the only road out is blocked by a massive ancient tree that looks like it's been clawed down by something huge. The haunting then gets personal, and frankly, way more terrifying. Marcus is in a hallway and confronts a figure he thinks is Ilara, yelling at her. But then, he hears the real Ilara's voice from behind him. The thing he was yelling at wasn't his wife. This is the first face-to-face encounter, and it shatters their sense of reality. Desperate, they search the house and find an old diary. It details a ritual to bind a spirit using salt and iron. They perform the ritual, and for the first time the house feels warm, safe. They think they've won. They celebrate. But this is the classic horror trope, the false victory. They soon discover the horrifying truth. The binding ritual wasn't meant to keep the entity out, it was designed to lock them in. With the family now trapped, the tall lady's influence grows stronger. This is where things escalate into the bad guys close-in phase of our story. The possession symptoms begin. Leo starts mimicking the entity, making strange, static-like vocalizations instead of speaking. Marcus, meanwhile, begins his own terrifying spiral. He becomes obsessed with the furnace in the basement, convinced he can hear his dead mother's voice calling to him from the vents. He's breaking down, becoming a pawn in the entity's game. Ilara, realizing their horrifying predicament, tries to use the landline to call for help. But instead of a dial tone, the phone emits a piercing, high-pitched frequency that's so intense it causes her ears to bleed. There is no escape. The house has them. Now we arrive at the film's darkest moment, the point of no return. Ilara follows the strange noises down to the basement and finds Marcus. He's facing a stone wall, scratching at it so frantically that his fingernails are bloody. He won't turn around. He says, "If I turn around, she'll see my eyes. And if she sees my eyes, she can come inside." It's in this moment of sheer terror that Marcus confesses the ultimate betrayal. He admits he made a deal. He invited the tall lady in. He believed the entity could fix Leo's neurodivergence, that it could take away the noise in his head. He thought he was helping his son. But he didn't open a door to healing, he opened a gate to hell. And as Ilara processes this, Leo's voice cuts through the darkness from behind her. "Too late, Mommy." She spins around to see her son, his eyes now solid black voids. He's holding a pair of rusted sewing scissors and says, "She says you have too many memories. We need to cut them out." The entity doesn't want their lives. It wants their memories. It wants to consume their very being. Alone, injured and betrayed, Ilara has to face this nightmare. She realizes the crawl space in the house doesn't just lead under the foundation, it's a gateway to another place. A mirror Blackwood, a dark, twisted version of the house made of ash and static. This is the entity's domain, the void. As she navigates this terrifying mirror world, she encounters the echoes of previous victims. They aren't ghosts in the traditional sense. They are living, breathing shells of people whose memories have been completely harvested. They're trapped, wandering the halls, repeating a single meaningless task for eternity. This is the fate that awaits her family. Driven by a mother's love, Ilara pushes deeper into the void and finds Leo in the nursery of the mirror house. He's sitting in a circle of his own disturbing drawings, which are now moving, animated, like a flickering, horrifying cartoon. It's here that the tall lady reveals its true form. A towering, grotesque mass of writhing nerves and dripping black ink. It's a physical manifestation of silence and emptiness. The entity begins to literally pull the memories of Ilara from Leo's mind. You see it, you hear it, as the sound design shows his memories of his mother being ripped away. This is where Ilara makes the ultimate choice. She understands she can't fight or kill a concept like silence, so she offers a new bargain. She steps forward and says, "Leave him, he's too small. His memories are just colors and shapes, they won't fill you." She offers herself instead. Her entire life, every vibrant, painful, beautiful, and loving memory she has, in exchange for her son's freedom. The entity accepts. We then get a visceral, gut-wrenching sequence where the entire soundscape of the movie just dies. It's the sound of a life being consumed, of a person being erased, as the tall lady feeds on Ilara's memories. And then we cut back. Leo wakes up on the floor of the real kitchen. The sun is streaming in. The house is bright, clean, and quiet. He's safe, he's free. He finds Ilara standing in the kitchen. She's physically there, unharmed. But when she looks at him, there's nothing, no recognition. Her eyes are completely blank. To her, he is a total stranger. The cost of his freedom was his mother's love, her very identity. The final scene is an absolute gut punch. Some time has passed. A realtor is showing the now pristine house to a new, hopeful young couple. They see Leo sitting at the kitchen table, eating cereal like a normal, happy kid. The young woman smiles and asks him if he's staying here. And with a bright, innocent smile, Leo replies, "Just waiting for my mommy. She's in the walls now. She keeps the tall lady quiet." The couple laughs nervously. As they look away, the camera pushes in on the wall behind them, and just beneath the surface of the wallpaper, we see the faint, rhythmic, and horrifying thump of a heartbeat. Ilara is still there, trapped in the house, becoming the new guardian, the new tall lady in training. An eternal prisoner, ensuring the silence is never broken again. What a soul-crushing ending. It explores parenthood, the desperation to fix our loved ones, and the terrifying price of sacrifice. This story shows that some monsters can't be fought. They can only be fed. What did you think of this concept? Would you survive a night in Blackwood Manor? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more content. Until next time, stay safe out there. I have 30 years of grief. I have the smell of my mother's perfume. I have the day Marcus proposed in the rain. I have the first time I held him, the weight of him. The tall lady pauses. The static lowers to a hum. Ilara, crying. It's a feast, isn't it? Take it all, empty me out, just let him remember who he is. Leo, whispering, eyes returning to normal. Mommy. Why is the air turning black? Ilara, her last words of the film. Close your eyes, Leo. Count to 10. When you open them, don't look for me, just run toward the light. Blackwood Manor, night, December 1974. Dust motes dance in the beam of a heavy iron flashlight. The house is pristine. Velvet curtains, shag carpet, a flickering Zenith TV. Arthur, 60s, a retired professor, stands in the center of the living room. He holds a hand-cranked audio recorder. Arthur, into recorder. Test 42. Silence remains the primary variable. The subject, Sarah, has been in the cellar for 72 hours. No vocalizations recorded. A faint static crackle comes from the recorder. Arthur freezes. He looks at the cellar door. A thin line of black liquid, viscous and oily, seeps from under the frame. Arthur, Sarah, are you ready to speak? A voice, Sarah's but layered with a dozen other tones, whispers from the floorboards. The voice. We are not Sarah. We are the space between the words. The Zenith TV turns on, no image, just white noise. The volume climbs. Arthur clutches his ears as the screen begins to bleed black ink. The tall lady emerges from the static, her fingers elongated, translucent as smoke. XT Blackwood Manor. Moments later, the house stands silent in the snow. Suddenly, every window shatters outward simultaneously. No sound follows the explosion. Just absolute heavy silence to protect Leo at all costs. Floor. Guilt over her inability to cure Leo's condition, which makes her vulnerable to the tall lady's promises of fixing him. Escape from professional failure and the pressure of his son's needs. Flaw. Impatience. He chooses the easy supernatural path rather than the hard work of parenting, leading to his betrayal. Leo. The target role, an 8-year-old on the spectrum whose heightened sensory perception makes him a loud beacon for the tall lady. The Mirror House. The Mirror House is a surreal, distorted version of the manor used for the climax. Monochrome palette. Every surface is rendered in shades of ash and bone white. The only color is the black liquid that leaks from the walls. Architectural distortion. Rooms are physically inverted. A dining table might be bolted to the ceiling, with gravity feeling heavy and wrong. Static atmosphere. The air should look pixelated or grainy, like a low-resolution video, to represent the tall lady's origin in white noise. The room is silent except for the low, rhythmic hum of Leo's white noise machine. Leo, 8, sits upright in bed. He isn't scared, he is curious. He stares at the corner where the ceiling meets the wall. The shadows there are too thick, like pooled ink. Leo, whispering, "Do you want to see my colors?" The white noise machine glitches. The soothing sound of rain turns into a harsh, metallic static. From the corner, a finger emerges. It is long, grey, and has too many knuckles. It taps the wall, clink, 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 like a bird's beak. Leo, Mommy says I shouldn't talk to the air, but you aren't air, you're the space in between. The tall lady unfolds. She doesn't step out, she glitches into the light. She is a 9-foot silhouette of vibrating lines. Her face a smooth, featureless mask of static. Leo, does it hurt to be quiet? The tall lady leans down, her head tilts a full 90 degrees. A sound begins to emit from her. Not a voice, but the sound of Ilara's voice from earlier that day, played backward and slowed down. Tall lady. Ilara's voice. VO. Distorted. Sleep. Go. Honey. Leo, reaching out a hand. You sound like a broken radio. She touches his hand. The moment her grey skin meets his, the room's color drains to grayscale. Leo's pupils dilate until his eyes are voids.